Hi, and welcome back to Studying the Masters with Alicia Dianne Art. We're going to get back into Zootopia. We're studying this portrait, which is Nick Wilde in his natural habitat, which is in his cluttered office. And we're checking out the color, we're doing the style. Let me see the original artist who drew the actual painting that we're working on today. I remember his name. It is Matthias Lechner. So it's a digital artist, and it's from this book, Zootopia, The Art of Zootopia, because we are all about Zootopia today. This is the original. Let me see if I can show it to you really quickly. It's the original one. So today we're going to be talking a little bit more about colors. It's actually our last day on this particular image. So let me go ahead and switch it over to my Photoshop window. And this is going to be our last day working on this. I'm hopeful that we can finish. I'm not 100% positive, but this is going to be the last day regardless because there's a lot more sketches that I want to get to and a lot more art pieces that I would like to do during this limited study. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Let me see if I can switch my window so you can see me today, because I'm actually showing up in the full today. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and go into our Nick Wilde over here. So the colors are really good in this one. It's like super muted. It's super like what's the word I'm looking for? It's very moody. It's very moody. And I know that they chose these particular colors especially for Nick to kind of get that sense of his personality. I would love to actually go ahead and like watch the first Zootopia again just to see like what scene this is actually from, and this like where this is actually used, because I really don't remember. I'm having a hard time trying to think of when they actually use this. So I don't know. Somebody will have to tell me. I'm just gonna have to watch it again because I really am not fully sure. I'm gonna go ahead and sketch in the elements on the table, and there's a few of them, so let's go ahead and just do that. I'm gonna let's see, let's put this into one. Oops, what did I do? I wanted to put that into one little folder, and let's call that Nick so that he is in one spot. And let's go ahead and start plugging in some of the other elements that are around. So let me see. So I'm gonna go in, I think I'll go right here. And I want to use go back to that color palette that I made for this particular episode. Let's use the blue to kind of just start sketching in stuff. And I think, let's see. Alright, so there's something here. It looks like it's like a pet rock or something. I don't know. So there's something there. There's like a picture frame. So I just want to get them like more accurate than what they are right now. And it's like so much clutter in this image. Something else that's happening. It's like it looks like there's a collection of like just different pieces, like what are you, like touristy type of things. That's what it looks like. That's over here. Because it's like some of these things are lit up. So it doesn't, I just don't know. I'm really going to have to go back and watch the first one again and see where this scene is coming from. I don't know. It might be a deleted scene because I really don't remember it. I know I've seen the movie a couple of times. So like, I don't know. It could be a deleted scene. There's like, it feels like just these little light up things going on. I don't know. They kind of overlap each other. I don't know. This is like some type of a house, it looks like, maybe. Okay. He also has a bunch of papers around him. There's one big one right here. So let's sketch that in. There's a couple of other things happening over here. So make it come out that way. And I don't know if these are bills or what they are. They must be like, I mean, it looks like some of them are letters. And they look like they're stamped or something like that. So another little thing over here. And this mug of stuff. There's like a fox head pin or something. I would say cat head, but because he's a fox, I didn't say that. But I did want to delve into colors, but I want to get, I think, this part of the sketch in so that we know what we're working with over here. And then takes out some of the distraction of thought. All right. Looks like there's like a box of index cards or something like that over here. All right. And then there's a bigger box of like letters. He must have been trying to solve something at this point. I don't. It certainly seems that way. And I didn't even realize these are going to overlap with some of those jars I have. So maybe I'll adjust it slightly. But not very much. There. And we'll just have him like this pile. It's this like pile of letters. I don't know, maybe he's animating. I don't know. There's all this paper. Maybe he's got a light box under that desk. I don't know. Trying to think about, I was talking yesterday a bit about like the clutter and how that can relate to like the character's personality and how important that was, because so many films like incorporate at least one character that's pretty messy or unorganized and has like this certain degree of stuff around. So because it came up twice for me already in this year, and you know, it just makes it, I think it's popular because it just feels natural, because so many people in the real world are not, you know, not trying to be bothered with, you know, organizing a bunch of stuff. Like maybe they're busy, or maybe they're messy, or they just don't have time. Whatever the reason is, the character could have multiple reasons why they haven't gotten to the clutter they have. But I think it's pretty important to just at least have a decent look at clutter and try to understand it. Like what type of elements you want to incorporate. That's kind of going to inform the character that you're drawing. What you're animating, that's part of the story. Let's see. See, maybe I can lower it a little bit so that it doesn't block the picture. I think I can. At least so it doesn't block the picture so much. Okay, this thing, trying to see how it's attached. Looks like it comes through here somehow. Not really sure how it works, but we'll figure it out. We just don't worry about it too much. Just want it to feel believable. That's my biggest concern with everything that's happening in the image. Is that it feels like you can buy it. But looking at that color palette, it is pretty muted, you know? It is not like a rainbow. Not in the least. So I think you can start to think about, well, why this character? What are the aspects of this character that's going to inform his color palette? And I think one of the biggest ones is sort of like their outlook on the world. Like, what is their current, what is the outlook that they have? Are they dark and gloomy? Are they, like, what are they, how do they perceive things? And I think it's cool that they show that scene from his childhood where you can see, okay, well, this is what shaped a lot of the beliefs he has right now. I want to think about, I was thinking just now, like how that relates to JD's story and the colors that I chose for that, for the characters. And I don't think any of them are gloomy. I think they're more than anything like, what's the word? Ironic, or something like that. How would I describe it? Probably in irony. Alright, let's see. There's like a cable running through here. Where's it come from? It comes from like the bottom here. So maybe, I don't know if they have it like this, but I kind of like the idea of it wrapping around and then comes out through under here. You have another wooden bar there for it to come through this other side. Why is this double? I don't know why I made this double. But you can think about like, all right, well, what, first of all, what does the world feel like? What kind of colors does this, the main areas where I'm going to be? So for Zootopia, I would, you know, that opening scene where Judy Hopps is first entering Zootopia, and you see the train, and you see all these buildings and stuff, and it's this bright, you know, vibrant place that feels hopeful and all of these things. And then you go into other spaces and it's like her apartment, for instance, and you have a totally different feeling. And so much of it is the light, because when you go into on the train and everything's bright colored and everything feels happy because it's so bright. And I think a part of that hopefulness is in the color palette, in those bright colors that we see. But in her room, there's almost zero natural light. It's always this dark lit type of space. So just thinking about, you know, how can I change the mood from scene to scene? If you've never made like a color script, which I actually have never made like a actual color script. I mean, I think in like subconsciously I don't know if I would call it subconsciously, but like I've made the palette and then I work as I go and I change the moods, but I haven't planned out color scripts beforehand, before like everything is made, like in pre-production. So I think that would be pretty interesting to go through and actually make a color script beforehand and see what that feels like, and just see like based on the scenes. And you would choose the most important scenes. You're not gonna just color script, from every scene to every scene. You're gonna choose like based on the main beats. And what even is that? What even does that mean? That is really about when you're starting to think about storytelling more deeply. If you want to make your own stories and you want to think about storytelling more deeply, those beats from your script, which is basically going to be your story outline, is going to be the key points that you're going to figure out before you even start writing. Before you even get into the writing process, you're going to figure those things out, because it's going to make life so much easier for you. Let me tell you, it's going to make life a billion times easier for you when you start to think about those before you start writing. And really, you want to figure out first, like, what is your inspiration for even making this at all? Like, what is the subject matter that is making you feel excited or making you think about, or what is that subject matter that is sparking something in you? And from there, you can create a really engaging, interesting character. And that doesn't mean complicated either. It can be the simplest character. Like I don't know why, but I always think back when I'm thinking about strong characters to SpongeBob, because SpongeBob is a simple character. He thinks like a child. Like, they basically made him a child person, but with his adult life. He has a job, he has his own place, and he has the responsibility of caring for a snail, but he's very like innocent, and like, what other traits would I use to describe him? He's very naive, but he's very likable because he's kind, and I think we find that naivety charming, like a charming trait that he has. The fact that he has this naivete, as they call it. So just thinking, having a very strong character, understanding what it is that makes them tick, and you figure that out by writing a character sheet. If you don't have a character sheet, go to my website now and you can get one sent to you immediately. If you sign my if you sign up for my newsletter, I send you immediately, I send you a character sheet, which is a reference sheet. And you can always, like, if you feel confident, you can even make your own. Like, you don't have to get it from me if you don't want to. Mine is available if you'd like, but you could also just Google, like, or find your own. But I like mine because because I've done so many, and I've really broke it down to like the first essential ones. You can get overwhelmed when it's asking you a bunch of questions right away about your character. You're still trying to figure it out. Like, who is this character that you want to, spend a lot of time with, like writing stories and, developing a world around. So if you're interested, have that. But develop that character, find out who they are, what makes them tick, and from there you're going to use those traits to start putting them into scenarios that test them, that test their character, that test, no pun intended, but it does test their character when your character is put into some situations that they might not like, that are different for them, that challenge their values, or whatever you may have it. And that conflict of like putting them in a difficult situation is really what stories are made of. That is really what the essence of stories are made of. So like Judy Hopps is put in a situation where she's going after her dream job, but nobody believes in her, especially her new boss and her parents, and she feels like a failure all the time, and she has to, that's just the first element, and then she has to solve this case that she's presented with, and that's, you know, going to be the thing that's going to make her prove to her boss and to her parents and to herself that she's got what it takes to survive, that her dream is valid. So I mean, that's kind of the heart of what's happening there. And you have all the subplots and stuff, the love interest, and obviously, come on, obviously Nick is a love interest. But that's the core of what's happening with her particularly, and she is a really strong character, because you know, you see her, you know she's she does has her save the fox save the cat moment, where you know she's a family oriented rabbit. You see her in the beginning and she's hopeful and she's a good girl and all this stuff, so you want to see her win. So that's kind of the heart of it. But then, what was I even talking about? Oh yeah, I was talking about beats. I was talking about it, so I actually will get to that at some point. So, you know, you figure out, all right, what am I interested in talking about in this particular story? Who is the character that's really interesting that I want to be my audience lens, that I want to focus on? And then you're just going to go start outlining with the key plot points. That is, you know, what does their normal life look like? You know, what's going to be that inciting incident, that thing that your character is going to have to confront, that's going to challenge their values, or something that's important to them is going to be either at risk, or their beliefs, either their beliefs or their ideals, or something important to them has to be challenged. And then it's like, how are they going to deal with it? You know, once this thing happens, how are they going to confront it? And you want to figure out what the most intense part of that conflict is. So the most intense part of the conflict in the story, that's going to be your climax. So that's the third one. And then you're going to figure out what your resolution is. So those are like your 4 key areas that you're going to focus on as you're developing this story that you want to tell. This story that you'll eventually be animating, writing, creating a comic for. You know, those are the things that you're really going to figure out. And of course, once you figure those 4 big points, then you can start figuring out more in between points, like what happens right in the middle, which is like called your midpoint. What is going to happen right in the middle of your film, right in the middle of your comic, right at the halfway mark, that's going to make whatever your character is going through more challenging. That's what you're going to figure out. And from there, you just start to figure out, all right, well, what happens in between these things? What else can happen? Who else is involved? Depending on how long your story is. All right. What does it have to do with color? Because then you have all those points, all those scenes, all those things happening, and your characters are going to feel things. Your characters are going to feel things in all those scenes. Your character is going to feel one way when life is normal in the beginning. So let's say you have your very opening image, you know, your normal life, your picture of normal life. As your character, like, are they living happy? They could be living happy already. They could be, you know, just living, like in Zootopia, the first one, it was like, you know, Judy was a kid and she's like in the school play. And life was pretty normal until, like, she got, you know, picked on. You know, we realize there's a bully, and, you know, there's all these things that are happening. So there's like a mini story in that beginning. But you have colors for that. You have colors that kind of identify with childhood and whatever. So you want to think about, how are your characters feeling in those scenes? When you get to that climax, what is your character feeling like? Are they feeling powerful? You want to use like bold colors, like reds and blues, like bright blues, yellow, like what kind of colors do you want to use to depict that mood? And you want to get reference for this. Don't think that you're going to figure out your color palette like out of your own head. I recommend actually not doing that, because your mind isn't the best reference. You have ideas, but you need, like, your brain needs things to consume as you're getting your ideas, if that makes sense. Like, yes, you're a brilliant, amazing artist, but also you need reference. That would be my advice to any artist out there. Yes, you can be a genius, but be a practical genius. You need reference. Don't forget your references. What does a real sunlight look like in Hawaii in the summertime? I don't know, but you can look it up. What does, like, Australia look like in their harvest season or their rainy season? And, like, what are the colors in the plants? And, like, you can find those types of references. You can also look at other people's art for color references. I think it's a great idea. Just, you can use your own ideas and take ideas for colors to apply to what you're doing. I have hiccups, I think. But there's lots of places. Don't. I just want you to get the idea that there's lots of places to get reference from, especially when we're thinking about, like, color references. There's so many different places where you can get some good reference. I hope I didn't overdo it with this. I don't think I overdid it with the sketching, because we want to get some more detail in here. Okay, I think we might be alright for sketching stuff. And I might even be able to turn that off, let's see, and just start plugging in some of these final, I need to do the TV, computer, PC, whatever it is. It's a PC. Alright, so I'm gonna rough it in a little bit better. First, let me figure out got the main shape, but I want to change it. I hope what I'm saying makes some kind of sense. I think it does. I hope it does. All right. Right, those, get that. Should actually be going further this way. And then there's, like, some stuff happening over here. And let's see. Alright. It goes like, this is like a old school, like 90s type of computer. I would love to play this old math game I used to have. It was like a haunted mansion or something, but it was like a computer game. It came with the Windows 95, I think, or somebody gave it something. I don't even remember where I got it from, but please tell me if you remember what the name of this game was. It was a computer game. It was one of the earlier computer games, and you could I don't know, I guess you progress in the game by solving like little math problems, which I hate math. I still hate math. It didn't make me like math anymore. Um, I just still think math is something you pay people to figure out for you. Or it's something. I don't know. It's just not for me. It's not for me. I don't know if you guys remember that scene. God, what movie? Oh, it was in gosh, that Vin Diesel. I think it was his first movie. Pitch Black. And when that girl sacrificed herself for him, like they've been fighting the whole movie. I guess there was some sexual tension or something, but they were fighting kind of the whole movie because he was a criminal, blah blah blah, and she was a cop or something like that. She was like a authority figure. And anyway, like she ended up sacrificing herself for him at the end. Sorry, spoilers, but the movie is like 20 years old at this point, more than that. But when she's getting dragged off by the aliens, he's like, "Not for me, not for me." And I always quote that one line because I'm a fool. I'm sorry. I just have my moments. That's one of my film moments, my geek film moments, my nerdy film moments. We all have some, I think. That one is mine. Not for me. Anyway, I was talking about colors. I was at some point talking about colors. Yes. So if your beginning is feeling one way, then you want to think about the types of colors that means. Don't rely on, if you're using like photo reference for like a building or a something, or like, I don't know, do not rely on photo reference color when you're like doing a painting from reference or whatever. Don't rely on the photo. Pick a color palette. Be intentional about the color palette. I made this mistake for a long time and my colors looked awful for a long time because I didn't realize that you're not supposed to pick your color reference just based on, like if you're using a drawing reference, don't use the same drawing reference as your color reference. Just like, don't do it. It's a bad mistake and I've made it, and the pictures and paintings that I've made using that decision have terrible color because that's not where you get your color. You have to be intentional about your color palette. I can say this, I have to say this because I didn't realize it for so long, and I didn't realize how much my images were suffering because I didn't realize it for so long. Alright, now that I said what I had to say about that, and I keep moving, right? Okay, I think we're safe to keep moving. I feel like I should put in more like detail on some of these. Like the more details things have, the longer it takes. So. But like I said, it's going to be the last day on this one as I'm moving on to different things. So if it's going to get done, I better do it. And don't worry too much about the details or else it's just not going to get done. This is a study sketch. Always remember what the purpose of what you're doing is. If you're doing something for study, let it be for study. Alright, let's see what we have. I think we're doing pretty good. And I'm going to start filling in some of these other details. Let's fix this PC. And I think from now I'm just gonna make things up till, just finish things through as much as possible. Let me see too, I'm gonna make this sketch layer a little bit more transparent. Let's make it like 80%. 70? Oops. That's fine. Go back down here and let's just start filling stuff in a little bit better. All right, what else? I don't know if I have any more advice for you. As far as art is concerned, let's see. The front is a little bit, let's start putting it on alpha lock now. Once you have the thing blocked in, you can put that alpha lock in and save you a lot of time trying to sketch details on things. Oops, I need to do one more part before. Okay. Alright, let's try this again. Right, this one is going to be darker. I don't know if you noticed, but it's nothing but holiday films now on TV. I've slowly started to loathe Christmas. I'm trying to like it again. Gosh, why did I start? You know, I think it's my husband's fault. Because I used to enjoy Christmas. But then he hated Christmas, and then I think I started hating it too. I don't know. But now I think he's starting to like Christmas more, and I still don't like it. I wonder why. I don't know. That's just me complaining for no reason. Alright, let's try and get these colors in. This screen right here, try and get that as best as possible. Alright, the screen is like a tealish color, but I'm going to keep it in the color palette. It's just a little bit more green. And I think that wouldn't be way too green. See if I can go just a little bit off. Because it is like that 90s. Alright, let's see if we can find some brushes we can use. We want some charcoal brushes that I like. Let's see. Soft. I don't know if you guys know about CTM, but it is, I don't know what happened. It's nothing like what it used to be, that's for sure. I think that Lightbox has officially taken over. I went to CTN this year just as a guest because I actually got free tickets through this organization that I'm in, and it was just completely empty. It was just a dead show. I'm like, man, where is everybody? It made me think of it because I was thinking I might use my Aaron Blaze brushes, and I know that he was there, but he was also at the animation VFX show, and I was there too. But I have his brushes, some of them, and it just reminded me of that event. I don't know what happened. Animation is just, people have to start, including me. When I say people, I mean all of us artists. We just need to be really intentional about putting our own stuff into the world. And I don't know if this helps. I hope it helps. I hope that studying other people's stuff helps to, like, for people to say, all right, well, how can I incorporate this into my own stuff? How can I incorporate this into what I want to do? That's really what it's about. It's like, all right, let's learn from the masters and let's go make our own stuff. Because at the end of the day, we have no control over who or who doesn't hire us. We have zero control over that. So I hope that y'all, myself included, start to think that way. Like, all right, well, now that I know that my options are, very limited when I give the power to someone else, including a studio, what is it that I want to do with the creativity and the passion that I've been gifted with? What is it I want to do with this thing that's inside me that wants to, create, that wants to make things and develop worlds and, make films, make comics. What am I going to do with it? Especially if no one else gives a hot damn about what's happening, like what becomes of me. No one cares. Let me tell you, first and foremost, no one is gonna care. This includes your mama and your your boo-boo and your friends and your neighbors. Nobody cares if you make it or not. They might want you to make it, and it's a good and a bad thing, because they want you to make it, but they're gonna love you no matter what, right? If they love you. If it's someone that loves you, they're gonna love you either way. And if you change your mind, they'll say, all right, well, that's fine. That's fine. And somebody who doesn't even know you is so busy, doing their own thing, that they're not. I would say the only people that is really gonna be in your boat are the people that are, if you've been blessed enough to get these types of things, it's gonna be the people who you've made friends with, who share your passion, and who get you, who really, really get you. And that's not something that's common. That's really not something that's common. If you guys are in the same boat and they can really get it, then they're gonna be like, all right, well, you know what, we're doing this. But other than that, nobody is thinking about you like that. They're just not. And that's like one of the harsh realities that we have to realize as creative people. So if anybody you're going to do it for, you better do it for yourself, so that you can do whatever it is that you want to do for others. Because you may have a lot of big ambitions to do things for others, because I do. I have really big ones. And those people who get what you're doing are the only ones who are really, like, man, and it's still, you'd be hard up to find someone that really cares if you make it or not. I'm sorry, but that's a fact. Even your mentor, you're going to need a really good mentor. Because I've had mentors that could give a hot damn where I ended up at the end of the day. Either, like, I don't know if it's like that's the thing too, is that some people just might think like they're being a good, it makes them feel good to be like a mentor. And maybe I've been in that situation myself. Like, you might like try and coach somebody and give them help, but at the end of the day, if you make it or not is up to you, and what making it is really, what making it looks like is up to you also. So what does making it look like to me? Ooh, that's a good question. It looks like I can support myself and be true to the stories I want to tell, and not let that go. I feel super hot. I would take this off, but I don't have anything under, so that's not happening. So it's hot though. It was so chilly before, but now all of a sudden, I don't know, maybe this topic got me heated. I don't know. But you can imagine, like, let's just talk about this is so stupid. But imagine Beyonce, right? She's already made it, right? She's made it a long time ago. But do you think her family was pushing her to make, like, Cowboy Carter, and like, oh girl, you gotta make this next thing. You gotta, you know, do something unexpected. They would probably encourage her to sit down more than anything. Like, girl, you've done a lot. You got 3 kids. You're good. Just retire. You know? This is probably what her family is saying, you know? You're good. You don't need to prove anything to anybody else. And not to say that she's doing anything to prove anything, but nobody is caring. Like, and I'm sure she has, I know she has a lot of haters. But you think anyone is saying, like, was like, you know, what else you got in there? I don't know. I think, or really, like, care if it worked out or not. I don't know. I think it was her, in her own mind, that said, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I have inside of me, and this is what I'm going to produce while I'm still here to produce it. And that's why she did what she did, because otherwise she wouldn't. And I think that's kind of how it goes. It's just like, all right, you have to decide in yourself what it is that you want from yourself, and then you go and do it. And your family is going to be there regardless. Like, they can care less if, like, I don't know, if your family is really loving you, then they don't care if you're a one-hit wonder or, you know, whatever. You maybe have, like, I really look up to, like, couples that can really understand that level of each other, you know, to really, like, say, I think you can, I think you ought to, or whatever, and push and challenge each other in that way, in a healthy way. I think it exists, but it's like those one of the other things. It's like people that understand you really, and that's rarer than it is common. That's why everybody is not successful, maybe. I think a lot of people just worrying about how they're gonna get the next thing paid, or get the kids to do whatever, or when they can retire, or whatever the case is. But it takes some strength to just say, no, I have a vision and I wanna see where I can take it. Because that's the road less traveled. That's all. That's all I have to say. I'll be quiet now. Alright, so let's see. Save this. Hopefully it doesn't shut down. I've been having I'm gonna do that right quick because my power has been acting a hot fool lately. A whole hot fool. And I'm not even trying to test it right now. It's been acting so up. What is this? That's the phone. I need to start labeling stuff better. Oh, where's this down? Alright, so what's this? Perfect, that's the box I need. Alright, so I'm going to put some detail on this. I could work in order, but I don't need to do that. I'm just going to kind of move around to these things. I got the TV, this PC and the PC stand. So let me like move around a little bit and see how much we can cover in a matter of maybe 30 minutes. We'll see. Let's see what we can do. Alright, so I think I like this brush. It's been an awful lot, probably all of these things, so that I can just start detailing them. I might add stuff, but and I'll unlock it if I need to, but let's just start alpha locking some of these so we can get a little bit better detail. And maybe what I'll do is just kind of vary some of the colors like I was doing before, have some of them a bit lighter, have some a bit darker, so that they all don't kind of blend in together, and just put a little bit of variation and then pop the corners in when they're switching sides over there. And hopefully I can do it with a minimal, just with a little bit of minimization, so that I'm not, trying to do this I'm not trying to render it crazy, just trying to make it make more sense than it's making right now, which is not really making a whole lot. It's doing something, but I'm going to try and simplify some of these. feel like I talked about a lot today. I feel like I was on a roll. And not the kind that you get in New York either. New York people get it. That was the corniest mom joke, but that's okay. Let's see. I wonder, and I'm just kind of thinking out loud here. And I was talking just a moment ago about relationships, about people. I don't want to sound like I'm discouraging. I'm just trying to like, not even be like realistic. Like some people say, I'm being realistic. No, I'm not trying to be like. And some people say realistic, and it's really just like, no, you're just killing vibes. I'm not trying to kill anybody's vibes over here. That's not what I'm trying to do at all. I think what I'm trying to do is just take away some of that dependency that we have, and this kind of savior. I know I have this kind of savior complex where I was waiting for somebody to like give me an opportunity or give me a chance or help me to make it, and this felt like I couldn't do it on my own. I need someone to come in and rescue me and figure this out. And at some point, which I think is just this year, I know it's just this year that I've just realized, like, no, that's not how this works. Ain't nobody coming to save. Not me, not you. Like, only Jesus. And he's not, he cares. Like, I definitely believe that he cares about what we're going through. But, going through the hardships, we all going to have to go through some hardships. And we all have to decide whether we're going to go for the things that's on our heart or whether we're not. That's what I think. All right. Anyway. Now that I've got that off my chest, I was like also just thinking about relationships, like friendships. And I wondered, like, I don't know how detailed I can be in this. I don't know. Are friendships like just seasonal type of things? Because I'm an elder millennial. I've had friendships, and I've seen a lot of them slip away, fade away, and evolve, especially when people start to change either their life values, which I notice, or like their partnerships. And I don't know, I just don't know if friendships are like, I've seen some people, like even my mom, she's had like friendships for 50 years and stuff. Are friendships starting to become shorter? Are we losing our momentum as, I don't know, were our parents better at keeping friends than we are? Because I noticed like I'm not the only one in this, like, that has like I don't know, it's always been difficult for me, I'll say, to make friends. Like, it's never been something I felt like I was naturally good at. I'm not outgoing. Despite being on here, I'm not an outgoing person at all. I don't make conversation easily. And I like have a severe case of resting bitch face. Like, I look angry when I'm just feeling neutral. And I'm like, dang, I think I have this thing where like I look like I'm angry and people think I don't like them or like something, and I'm just like, no, I just have a bad face. And I don't mean bad as in, bad, but you know what I mean. Like I just don't look friendly. I don't think my face looks friendly when I want it to. I don't know if that makes sense. But I had this life question about relationships and friendships, and I had a friend like since high school. We were friends, and what happened was like she had a very life-altering event. She had a child, and I was very happy. Like I had my child many years ago. I had my child really young. I was a young lady. When I had my baby, I was a baby. I was only 20, 21 when he was born. But I don't know. I don't know if I think it's a combination of things, but I just think about it a lot. And I'm just wondering if there's still hope. But it just seems like things were, I don't know. It's just, I think the way that she described me, like, made me feel like, like, I don't like that. Like, she described me, or introduced me as, like, a high school friend. And I'm like, well, I thought we went to high school 20 years ago, and we're 30 years ago almost now. I thought we were more than that. But it made me feel a ways. But I don't know, I wanted to talk about it, but it seemed like it just kept on never, like, I don't know, I think I got in my feelings and I just didn't say anything for a while, but then I said, I don't want to talk, but she just didn't respond to that request. So, or like, I don't know if it like emotion, I don't know if emotions kind of, I think she's just scared of emotions. A lot of people are. My husband is for sure, so I already know how people kind of act when they're afraid of it. My mom is too. I think, for a long time, but I'm so raw. Not to say that I don't have emotional fears now, because I know I still have my vulnerabilities. But I think I'm much more willing than most people to experience uncomfortable amounts of pain, to a degree. Some people just don't want to feel it at all. And I'm more like, let me feel this thing. And I think in some situations I am. Others, still working on. The Lord is still working on me. I don't know. I notice like my husband too, he's like, doesn't talk to a lot of guys his age and stuff, or like in his work, it's not a really male environment. There's a lot more, works in the museums, and there's a lot more women. I don't know. How do you deal with relationships and finding supportive, like, I don't know, I think the best place for adults, and this is, I don't want it to feel like it's a lost cause, but I think the best place for adults to make friends is in college. And that's why I'm really pro college also, because I think you make your best relationships in college because you meet people who are like-minded. And so I would encourage any artist just to go to, even if you just go to college for networking, like not even networking, because it's not like like if you have a good supportive friend group, like you can get so much further in your career. I've seen it happen. And I've felt so much more motivated and inspired when I have people who get what I'm doing, and I get what they're doing. It's just it's like a mastermind. Like you automatically put yourself in a mastermind when you go to a college for the right thing. That's my spiel. That's what I think. You automatically put yourself in this bubble. Unless you can get like your dream job right out the gate from high school, then go ahead and do it, you know. But most of us don't get that. But I think you can grow, especially if you struggle in high school, then you can grow like from being immersed into that environment where if you hadn't felt connected creatively to that sort of outlet. So I don't know, but I think it's important to have that. If you can find it earlier, then that's great. Like if you can find it in high school or before, then great. But most of us don't get that. Oh, it's too hot. I think I'm gonna turn my camera off and get a lighter a lighter shirt. This thing is killing me. It's so incredibly warm. Oy vey. Oy vey. Lucky for me, I had a light shirt that was hanging to dry right over the door that was easy to get to. So lucky me. And lucky you didn't have to wait too long, because I was about to put on one of my son's t-shirts, like literally. I was just going to grab a t-shirt and say, hey buddy, I took your shirt, but this is a lot lighter than that like sheep that I had on before. Better. I just realized how late it is. We've already been on for an hour, but I think we can get a little bit farther. If there wasn't so many dagnam boxes, we'd be doing a lot better. But there's a lot of boxes, so I'm gonna try and not get overly whelmed with this. And let's see. I'm gonna try not to let it take me over too much. Just want to add some texture in here. I don't want to do a crappy job though, so that's my only concern. I don't want to do a shoddy job or anything. It's not my only concern, but it's a concern. Anyway, that's darker. Let's put that over here. Maybe. I'm gonna do my best to just, I'm gonna do my best to do my best. So let's see. Just gotta add some texture and stuff, you don't want it to look crazy. Let's alpha lock this as well. But I'm gonna work a little bit faster because, like I said, this is the last day. I mean, I could leave it, but where's the fun in that? I wanna get it as complete as I possibly can. bucket also needs to get a little bit of love. Let's see. I'm going to take a little bit off of the top. Oops. Delete. Damn it. Why is he doing that? I mean, darn it. That's what I said. I said darn it. Alright, let's see. Let's see. Let me take this. Need it a lot smaller than that. Not that small. Let's see if this works. Alright. And it's like a greenish color paint, it looks like. Take the apple off. And let me see if I can get myself just like a little pencil. Just to put in this little save. Alright, let's see. Alright, I want to do this one. Okay. You want to just add the texture with adding, just like increasing the shadow a little bit at a time. You can add like the little tints of other hues that are in there too. And I'll add like a little floor shadow also, just to kind of give it some less saturated, I think. Just to, so it doesn't blend in too much with the bottom over there. Alright. Alright, the stuff inside the box. Oops. I'm going to take it smaller and use that other one. Oops. The darker one. Get a little bit darker around this area, just to make it feel like it's going into the box. this thing over here. It's like some type of a label. It's not the exact this color, but I just want to give it some, just want it to not look so much like that color, like that. Not so saturated, just to feel like there's something else going on there. And there's like a little thing that says something on it, something to do with times. So I'm guessing these are old, maybe newspapers. Alright, so alright, what else can I work on? I think I can, we're almost done with these boxy things. So let's do the phone, because I really want to get to the big chunk of it all. Let's go back to our brush. A little bit bigger, not much. Let's make it a little bit darker, just for some contrast. I never really realize what I'm doing until I've done it. And I don't know if that makes any sense. But I've had to like rewatch some of what I've done, like with studying the masters, and like, God, you know, how did I do that type of illustration? Because like I've talked about before, like digital painting, like being a challenge for me, something that I've had to work on, is something that I still feel like, you know, it's something that I aspire to continue to grow in, and want to grow in a lot more and be a lot further along. And I'm going to be taking a class soon on that, just to deepen my skills and get better. I always want to get better at everything I'm doing, but digital painting is one of those things. And I'm like, well, how did I do it so quickly? And how did I? And now I'm thinking conscious. Now I'm like aware, and I'm like, oh, I'm just blocking things in and just texture. I'm not trying to do like something that's super polished. I'm just trying to create this thing that's like, and it's not for like show. It's like, it's a study. It's like, all right, what are the things that work? What are the things that I'm learning from this? What are the things that I want to incorporate that's being used? And I'm like, oh, I kind of see what I'm doing now. And it's so funny that even I am learning how I operate and how the process works. And so I hope that you will see it also. Especially, I hope that you do some study work and just kind of feel out other people's designs and ways that they choose color. And then you can say, oh, that's how. Because it could be something simple. You think of something simple, but then all of a sudden it makes sense. And it's like, oh, that's how this works. And that's the point of this. That's the point of this whole series. This whole Studying the Master series, for you to have those type of moments. I want you to have those type of moments with me. Oh, like that's how that works. So that you don't get stuck. This is the anti-stuck club, okay? Because I've felt stuck so many times in like my creative journey, and it's a shite feeling. I was almost said the other word, but I want to keep it PG-13. I think PG-13s allow you to say the whole thing. It doesn't matter. I want to keep it, you know, keep it kosher. All right. I think the phone's good. I'm just gonna grab this darker color into the cable. I could probably use an even darker color, honestly. But it's art. Alright, should we tackle the desk? I forgot about all that stuff on the desk too. Oh my god, I picked this crazy detailed thing. Why? Now I'm regretting my own choices, aren't I? Right, let's see if I can fix this little hole in here. Oops, wrong color. Oh, what happened? What did I do? Oh, Zoe. Oh, dang. Okay. Control D. Or whatever it is, command, whatever. I'm seeing a little color mishap in his tail too. That's okay. Alright, what else do I need to take off? Take this off. Delete. 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 Fail. I think we could be okay with this. Let's go ahead and get started. All right. All right, so where is it? Envelope. All right, let's start to plug stuff in. Quickly is the word of the day. Because we don't have all day. We're trying to make progress. All right, so I would love to know like the difference with time between the original. It's always like so much faster to do a copy, especially if you're doing it for study, because you're not trying to impress anyone. You're just kind of learning from it. So it's a different process. So it's always you have to get the idea. The idea is the biggest thing. The idea is the biggest part. So don't let anybody ever cheap you out for your ideas, because ideas is the work. That's what is the moneymaker, is your ideas. So that's why I think it's so important too for us to tell our own stories, because therein is the value. That's the value. All right, let's see. So dark. Just want some alteration here. I don't need it to be crazy. I don't want all the wood to look the same, because it's not. It's very varying. That was supposed to be this darker brown. And in here too. I really need to go to a theme park soon. I have been under way too much stress. I need to just go to Disney Park or something. See how these things get you? You start to think, oh, I'm just drawing, and then all of a sudden, hey, I feel like going to Disney Park. That's how they get you. Alright, so what I want to do for the desk in particular, I don't think I'm going to do this with any other part of the background, but for the desk, I want to do the line art, because for the desk I think it's important. I don't know which one I use for him, but a little bit darker. For wood, I think you have a pass. When you're trying to do like work with like without the line, which is, you know, what a lot of us try to incorporate with, especially with background stuff, I think you get a hall pass for doing anything that's really made of wood, because you have all of that grain in there, and it's not impossible, but it's almost, you almost really need that line to kind of create some kind of feeling of depth. And so for the sake of wood grain, I do think it's okay. It's not perfect line, actually. I should just do it like that. Let's see. I think it's okay to be a little bit sketchy with it right now. For this line part, you'll have to excuse me because I need to, it requires more thinking. It's almost a little bit of calculation, like figuring it out. I don't know why. It feels like maybe it shouldn't be, but it is. It seems simple enough, but it takes more brain power for whatever reason. No, I don't know which piece has taken me the longest to do on here. I know I have that one piece that I didn't finish, which was my own actually, from when I was starting the BizDev portfolio. I didn't finish that one. I think I only have like 1 or 2 sessions left. It just got unimportant in my head. But maybe I will still get to it. I just had done so many episodes on it. I was just like, this is taking up too much. Maybe I just was starting to get into the detail. That's why I was trying to say, like, this is it for this one. I can't be like, going on and on with too many episodes on one sketch or one drawing. So, to call my limits. Alright. Just gonna go ahead and merge it down because YOLO. And let's see. I might actually do some line on the chair because I think I can get away with it. There's a lot more stuff in the background that has, I think the whole thing kind of has lines on it. When I'm looking at the original one now, I'm like, dang, there's a lot more than I thought that has line in it. Oh, that's okay. Let's see what we can do for the top of the desk. I might have to call it after that, and I might just have to do the rest on my own time. I might just have to do the rest on my own time because I didn't realize how much is still there. Let's block these colors in anyway. There's this like a darker blue. That's not the right one. And it's this yellow color on the inside, but a little bit darker. All right. Let's see. I can't find the right color for that. Maybe make it. It just needs to stand out a little bit. I'll just delete it inside. There's like some type of thing going on up here. I don't even know. It's a weird shape. And then there's this thing. I don't know. It looks like this, some kind of writing or something. So I will do my best to compensate without sacrificing too much time. You know what? Let's see. Let's see if I can do this. Some of them I got done so fast. I'm like, how the hell did I do it so fast? Because this one is taking me a minute. It's all the little details, I think. All the little details add up for sure. I don't even know what this shape is, but I want to not make it an unappealing shape, but it's a weird shape. there's like this other, such strange colors. I don't know what. It's like these little weird ornaments or something is on here. It's like a little flower thingy. I can't even tell what's on here. I think this is a flower. So I shall draw it as such. And then this one is like so weird. I'm just gonna add these in here. I don't even know what I'm making. I'm trying to improvise because this is these weird shapes and stuff, and I don't know what they are. Just these weird little trinkets that are over here. Let's see, there's like this other thing that looks kind of like it's a paw shape, but not really a paw. Very strange. So I just want to get the main idea in that at this point. And there's some papers over here. I'll take this color. Oops. One. That was. A little bit more redder, actually. Be a little bit lighter. I know I'm being picky. There's just a bunch of things. Alright, let's see. That's the thing too, when you're doing that like clutter stuff, then you have to also understand that just putting in all these little tiny details is time consuming. That's for sure. It's definitely going to be time consuming. Alright, let's see, what else is there? There's like a pile of paper over here, just like, what's this? This is like some type of a letter that's also in that paler green color. I don't know if it's like a post-it or what. I'll use this, I'll make it. There's like things in it. Let's make those one color. I'll make that another. And this thing is similar. What else is on there? It's like, oh, that's where that note thing I think is in this little box. All right. We're getting there, getting there. This little box. Of papers. The more clutter you have, boy, is it ever more time consuming. More stuff to paint. So think about that too. Don't have all your characters with a bunch of stuff, a bunch of clutter. Maybe make it one. But don't overdo it, because you gotta draw all those details and you gotta paint all those details, and it's gonna take a lot of time. Just saying. And make sure you understand what you're signing up for. Okay. A little dent out so we have that nice curve in the paper. Let me alpha lock this. Let's see. Shift. And you know what, y'all? I think I might just have to call it for today. And you know what? I will continue and I will put, how about this? I'll do the rest and I will put it on, maybe I can shift it over to Procreate for the rest of the details and just share the Procreate video. Let's see what we got so far. That's pretty good. I definitely want to put the lamp in and the tape. So let's do that. Let's make a new layer. Let's see. I'll call this desktop. And let's make another one for the lamp. I think I started talking about some good topics before I got, all the way invested in doing just this. But I think it was some good things to talk about and things to think about. I hope that you think about these things too, and all right, what are the things I want to incorporate, What are they for me? Is that a little dark? I'm just gonna add some texture over here. Darker red. While we're here, might as well add that bit of texture in there. Alright, let's see. I'll do the shape and all that for this little thing here too. Almost forgot if Procreate had alpha lock. Of course, Procreate has alpha lock. You see, I go to Photoshop for 1 minute and I totally forget everything on Procreate. That's my life. I don't think I'm forgetful, but I have my senior moments. You remember when people used to say that? Senior moments? I definitely have senior moments. Okay, that's not bad. Let me get that blue color, I think, and go really dark on it. Okay, and I'll just do a little bit of lighter color, a little bit of darker red inside of that. Lighter edges and stuff. Darker. I can't even see it, but I just going on instinct. All right, and I think that's good. Let's see. And let me do the tape on the chair really fast. Where is this chair? There's this chair. I want to get rid of this extra stuff really fast. And add where it needs to be added in. Oops. And take out where it needs to be taken out. Alright, well that's not part of it. I can undo that. Alright, so the tape. Alright, so let me make a clipping mask. And the color is this yellowish color. And I'm just going to go ahead and plug these in. I guess it's tape. It looks like tape. I don't know what else it would be. There's just so much of it. But it's all, you know, it's all part of that. What's the word? Composition. Like the word is right there. It's all to bring your eye back to the central focus, which is Nick in this picture. So even you can use tape on a chair to point the eyeballs of your audience back to where you want them to look. Always find things to point your audience back where you want them to look. Look at the lamp, it's pointing back. All the things on the desk are facing him. So little details like that go a long way. You don't even notice until you notice. You don't know the trick. You don't know the magic until you know the trick. Alright. I'm going to alpha lock this really quick and just give that tape a little bit of pizzazz with a little bit of texture. A little bit of shading on the tape. And I'm gonna go because I know my son is going crazy in the next room. Like, you're taking up the whole living room with your recording nonsense. Please stop it already. Just want to shape that out a little bit better. All right, so we made a ton of progress, and it's looking pretty good. Let me see if I take this off, sketch off how far it looks. It still has a ways to go before it's considered like a clean finished painting, but I think we made a lot of progress. And I'm going to leave it here for now, and let me find where you are. You're right here. Thank you so much. We're almost 2 hours. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Alicia Dianne. Join me, aliciadianne.com. You can join my newsletter if you want to learn anything about this type of stuff that I create and how you can create your own. Making a graphic novel is an excellent book. Oh my gosh. Definitely. It's on my website, aliciadianne.com. I'm going to plug in the links. And I'll see you guys next time. Alright, take care, live balanced, and be yourself. Peace out. Cub Scout.